What is up, guys? Back with another video. This is going to be a video discussing and pretty much creating a tier list for the Paladins mid-season patch. This is the Genlock update, aka pretty much mid-season. This is going to be the flank tier list. This is one of 4 videos. I will be doing damage, tank, and support in the near future, so if you do not want to miss those, please, if you are new, subscribe down below. Huge red button, completely free, and it really helps out the channel a lot. And let's see if we can get this video to 25 likes within the first 72 hours. You guys completely blow it out of the water every single time, and I'm happy to bring you guys these in-depth console tier lists. So, I'm going to be getting right into this. Let's get this to 25 likes. Really helps out the channel. I appreciate all you guys' support. Like I said, if you do not want to miss out on the next 3 videos, the next one's probably going to be DPS, and then probably support and tank probably for the last 2 videos. I also will make this into a playlist, so if you guys want to just wait and watch all the videos all at once, then I will make a playlist. You guys can do that as well. So, read the description if you guys want more backstory. I'm not going to talk too much about myself. I'm a veteran Paladins player. I play on Switch. I've been playing for almost, I think, like 5,000 hours now, just to put it real simple. Been doing tier lists for, I don't know, like almost 3 years now for the game. So, the mid-season patch has had a lot of updates. So usually I do this in one video. That's why I'm splitting it into 4 videos, because there's just too much to talk about. I think flank, out of all the roles in the game, is probably the one that hasn't really changed the most, and it's the one that's kind of mostly the same, with support and tank probably being the ones that change the most. So keep in mind, we also have new items in the game. Veteran, we have Guardian, which doesn't really apply for any flanks, but that's mainly a tank item, anything with shields. And then we also have new reworked Haven, which actually is a blast shield and a direct damage item now. So that we do have some reworked items. We also got Cauterize being buffed up to, I think it was 80%. So 80% Cauterize. We also got some other type of stuff like Bulldozer being buffed and stuff. But mainly the couple things that you guys really need to know: Cauterize being buffed up to 80% as a tier 3, and Veteran, and Veteran being a health percentage type item now that gives you more health, and then Haven being a direct damage and a blast damage item all into one. So we're gonna get right into this. I'm not gonna rant anymore. There's not really gonna be too much on screen, so if you guys just want to tab out, listen to me talk as I do get into this. This is gonna be an in-depth console tier list. I'm gonna try to break this shit down as good as possible and give you guys pretty much the gist on pretty much everything, so you guys know what to be playing in your ranked games, and you guys can win your games and have an easy time ranking up. It also is a brand new ranked split, and this ranked split is starting now for the mid-season patch. Goes till the end of the season, which is in, I think, probably January or something. So, and keep in mind, this is going to be your mid-tier ranked. So I'm talking mid-tier gold all the way up to your mid-tier diamond games. I will be talking a little bit about your high-tier games, but this is mainly just your mid-tier ranked, mainly mid-gold, platinum, and mainly up to around about mid-diamond tier games. That's what this list is going to be for. It's not for pro play, not for your masters or your grandmaster games, just your general ranked tier list. Keep in mind, it's also for consoles, so that's why stuff may be different compared if you're playing on PC, so keep that in mind. I would appreciate if you guys watch the entire video too before commenting, because a lot of people like to skip the entire video and then they go make themselves look really stupid in the comments down below. So don't do that. We're gonna get right into this. We might as well get Moji out of the way, because I know you guys love hearing me talk about Moji. So let's get her out of the way right now. Here's the tier list, guys. I'm starting completely over as well. These are the legends. They're not the legends, but like the tiers. SS is going to be your broken tier stuff that you're going to be picking or maybe even banning in a lot of your games. AS is going to be your top tier stuff that you're going to want to be picking in the majority of your games. And I wouldn't really say it's really ban worthy. You can ban it once in a while, but it's mainly the stuff you're going to want to prioritize. A+ is just your above average picks. A is your average stuff, B is below average, C is kind of situational, D maybe only has like 1 or 2 certain situations or team comps you will pick it into for it to work, otherwise it's garbage. And then F tier, which is pretty much Moji tier, garbage. Moji is garbage. She got buffed this patch. I don't even want to get into her because just talking about her makes me angry. Moji needs is an entire rework. Until they either delete Moji from the game or they rework Moji, she is going to be doo-doo garbage. Like, light her on fire and throw her into a dumpster tier type of flank for the game. She adds nothing to the game. She even got buffed this patch. She got buffed. I think they increased the range on her I think it was her familiar spit, and then her other one, whatever her explosion one type, whatever that does, got a bigger radius. And then they increased the scamper speed, so it moves a little bit faster now without having to use loadout cards. Garbage. They could buff her and buff her into oblivion, and she would still be one of the worst characters in the game. She adds nothing. There is no reason to pick Moji. Like I said, if you want to pick Moji and you want to throw your ranked games and never win your ranked games, then pick Moji, and then you'll just get reported for feeding and throwing people's ranked games. Because I don't know about you guys, but every time I get a Moji on my ranked team, I instantly report them after the game's done and we lose. So you automatically put your team at a 4-5 disadvantage because you are worthless. You are worthless. If you pick Moji in your ranked games, I can't stress it enough. You are throwing. That's how bad she is. You toss her into a dumpster, light her on fire, and then never see her again because she needs to either be reworked or deleted from the game. Moving on. Let's move on to the actual flanks now as we get away from garbage. I don't know why I spent so long talking about Moji. I don't know why, but we're going to actually move on to the flanks that actually bring something to the game. We're going to be starting off with Androxus. Androxus going right to SS. Androxus, even after the nerf from last patch, he is really, really, really good. He is worth a ban still. Keep in mind, we also have 3 bans now per side in ranked, which is the first time ever that we have been able to do this. So you guys can ban more stuff now. So if you want to, you can also ban more flanks. So I think Androxus right now is definitely worth a ban. He is probably the best flank in the game. Curse Revolver is insane for what it does. He brings so much to a team that you want out of a flank. You got really good mobility. The only thing that the card nerf and the card changed to Andro is the lower tier type Andro players. I'm talking like your bronze, silver, and maybe your lower to mid gold players. That if you don't really have the best aim, then the ammo nerf and the rework to his ammo card is going to affect you. But if you're like me and you have really pinpoint accuracy, you can land headshots, and you're landing the majority of your shots anyways, it didn't do anything to Androxus. The only nerf that it really affected was your lower to mid-tier type players that really don't have the best of aim. That being said, if you do not have the best of aim, Andro may not be the flank for you. But if you're really solid at aiming and you can land headshots really easily, and you know what you're doing with Androxus, you can carry games. He is that good. Probably one of the only flanks right now, too, that I think has been probably the best, even over the last patch when we had 75% cauterized. I think he was still even really good then. And that was when the patch he got nerfed. I don't know what they really need to do to Andro to nerf him. I really don't. But I don't know. It kind of just depends, too. It just really depends. Do you pick Andro or do you pick another flank, or do you ban Andro out? Because if you can get Andro as a first pick, then you're really usually just steamrolling your games. Like, if you want a really solid pick to carry a lot of your mid-tier gold up to, like, your high-tier diamond games, Androxus is that champion right now. Because you're really not going to see him very much in those types of games, and if you do, you need to play him really well. And if you can play really well Androxus, you can easily climb ranks. That's how good he is right now. So, SS broken tier. You're going to be banning him. You're going to be picking him if he is not banned, and if you are good with him. Granted, like I said, he does take pinpoint accuracy to make him work, and he really only has one viable talent. Defiant Fist is garbage, never play it, and Godslayer is pretty much garbage too. You're going to be picking Cursor Revolver every time. It's just that good. Like, having the ability to 900 headshot squishies, it's unmatched. I think that's the thing they need to look at next, is Cursor Revolver. Apart from that, we're going to move on. Next one we got is Buck. Like, also, if I do not explain something in this video, guys, and you guys watch the entire video and you guys want more clarification, or if there's something I do miss and do not explain, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. I love interacting with you guys, and I do respond to the majority of the comments. So if you do leave a comment, I'll probably end up responding. We got Buck. I feel like Buck's really bad right now. He's not good at all. He just doesn't do his job. This also takes into consideration with Cauterize being buffed. Every time you buff Cauterize, it makes Buck worse, and it lessens his survivability because he really relies on his self-heal. Not to mention, if you can't get right up on top of somebody, you're not going to be doing anything at all with Buck. Like, you need to be right in somebody's face the entire game, and if you're going against a good team, you're not going to be able to do that. They're going to shut you down, and they're going to lock you out. And either that or they're going to group up. You cannot 2v1, you need to be getting constant 1v1 picks. That's what he excels at. I don't know, it's just really difficult, especially with double support being really, really good still. Like, even with the Cauterize being buffed up to 80%, believe it or not, guys, supports are still probably, like, right beside tanks. I'd probably say, like, supports are probably number one, maybe even number two. You can argue either one, probably best role in the game right now still. Like, double support is still probably going to be one of the best team comps in the game. You struggle with Buck to really do anything, and it's really hard to dive supports and stuff that's constantly getting healed. I don't know. I'm going to put him at C tier because I don't think he's absolutely, like, god-awful useless. But the majority of the times, if I at least when I see a Buck on my team or I see him in ranked, he does nothing but feed and he doesn't do anything the entire game. And you were just better off picking something else and something that's way easier to play and has way more versatility and just brings a lot more to the team than Buck does. And you probably could have had a way easier time and probably even won the game. So, I don't know. That's kind of where he is. I put him at a C tier. He's not like dog shit awful, but I'm going to put him at C tier because he can be situational. But I'm just not going to move him any higher than that. He's not worth it. We got Evie. I'm going to put Evie at a C tier. I'm going to say this every single time I put Evie on one of my tier lists. This is not a PC tier list. This is a console tier list. The only time you see good Evies in your ranked games is when you're in higher tier ranked mainly. And that's when you see her probably being picked a little bit more and putting in some work. Apart from that, if you're just talking about your general ranked games, you're not going to see Evie. And if you do, they usually just do nothing the entire game or they just end up feeding and you're just better off picking something else. Don't get me wrong, Evie is insanely good if you can actually play her. Not many people on console can play a good Evie to the max potential to the point to actually carry games or at least do a good amount of work in your ranked games. That's why I'm putting her at a C tier. If this was PC, I'd probably put her like an A+ or an S tier because you see a lot more Evie on PC than you do on console. But being a console tier list, going to put her at a C tier, not because she's bad, but just because you don't see anybody playing her to max potential on console. There you go. Koga. We got Koga. Actually got buffed this patch. Where am I going to put Koga, guys? A+ tier. Koga's going into A+ tier. Don't get me wrong, he is better than last patch. He is better than last patch, but I feel like the thing he struggles with right now is that there's still a lot of healing in the game. And you have these bulky tanks being picked, like Fernando, you have Jagrith have a huge spike in pick rate. She's being picked a lot right now. Jagrith, Barrack is also another one that kind of shits on you. Like, you have a lot of these tanks where you just really can't do much versus them. The only thing you're really good against is squishies. You kind of get shit on by a lot of the tanks. Even with the damage buff, they actually buffed his damage, and they gave a slight revert to a nerf they gave him, I think, 2 or 3 patches ago. I think it was 36 per pellet. Now it's up to 38 or something like that now. So, like, the problem with Koga, and that's going to hold him back from being, like, a top-tier flank in the game, is like the lack of talents. The only talent that he has that is actually viable is Adrenaline Junkie. Blood Reaper is one of the worst talents in the game, and it doesn't do anything for him. Same with Dragon Fangs. Once in a while you can make Dragon Fangs work, but if you use it in ranks, more than likely you're just feeding. Like, you need to have a comp built around Dragon Fangs. That being like a Torvald bubble, like a Corvus pocket, a Genos pocket the entire game. Like, something that can enable you to use Dragon Fangs effectively. And if you're solo queuing and just playing your typical ranked matches, you're not going to be able to do that. So, and that's with completely random healers and stuff as well. So, people don't know what they're doing, and they ain't going to pick, and they ain't going to draft properly. I don't know. I'm going to put him at an A+. It is console. He is pretty solid on console. Don't get me wrong. He can actually stomp your ranked games. Like, if you're talking about gold games up to, like, your mid-platinum games, he can actually stomp. He does do really well around those ranks. He just falls off. Once you get around above, like, Platinum 3 up into your mid-tier, high-tier Diamond games, he does fall off a lot. So that's kind of the bad thing about Koga right now. But if you want to really pub stompy, like, carry ranked, like in your mid-tier ranks, if you're trying to get out of gold, you're trying to get out of silver, you're trying to get past mid-platinum, Koga may be the flank for you because he's easy to play, really straightforward, and he does do a lot in those types of ranks. So that's kind of just where he is right now. Lex got nerfed. Still going to be an S tier. He's not ban worthy. I don't think he's worth a ban anymore. You just can't really go up to somebody and like delete him in 1 second. He did get a bit of a nerf. Discovery got nerfed from 30 down to 25%, and then the previous patch before, he got a reduction to his lifesteal card that got cut in half. Like, I don't know, I still think he's really good. I really do. I think Lex is still really good. If you pick Discovery and you just constantly keep marking somebody and you just go after whoever is your retribution target the entire game, you still do put in a bunch of work. Not to mention you have an instant execute with your ultimate. That being with tanks being really, really good right now, you're going to be seeing a lot of Atlas, a lot of Jagrith, Fernando, Barrack, like those type of tanks weak to an instant execute, and being able to get an instant kill on any of those tanks makes them really, really good. Like, I can't put him any lower than an S. I really can't. Like, just with his ult alone, and it's him still doing a shit ton of damage. He may not have the best mobility, but he still does a shit ton of damage for a flank. Like, I can't put him any lower. He's still S tier worthy. If you want to really, like, pub stompy, like, carry god, like, not really god. I'm getting confused with Smite, but champion for the game right now. And he's really easy to play. All you need to do is know how to somewhat aim. Like, one of his abilities is legit auto aim. You just need to be looking in the right direction, and you'll guarantee damage. Learn when to use your ult, so you just don't waste it on a shield or just waste it willy-nilly. Make sure you're getting value out of your ult. The point where you're executing the tanks, you're executing supports. Getting a pick on a support is really, really valuable right now. Especially if you can do it at the start of a team fight or at the start of end of a point push where they can't really defend without a support. That pick really matters, so that being able to get an execute on that really matters as well. Overall, this is really good. I wouldn't put him at an S tier, broken tier, but he's still one of the best flanks in the game right now. Him and Androxus is still really, really good. I just think Androxus is worth a ban, and I don't think Lex is really worth a ban anymore. But he's definitely still worth like a top pick, or at least to be considered as a top pick, or even sometimes a ban, depending on how you feel and how you want to play. Really solid. Next, we got Maeve. My favorite flank in the game still to this day to play. She is so much fun to play. I love playing her. I can't put her any higher than an A+ tier, though. I can't. She actually got buffed this patch, too. She got a brand new skin, if you guys haven't checked it out. Cammy, brand new skin. You guys should see it on screen right now if you guys want to check the skin out. If you guys haven't played the game since the update dropped for some reason. She's just too good. Like, I don't know, I'd say she's above average. Like, the problem with her is right now is just, I don't know. I really don't even know where you'd go with Maeve right now, like, balance-wise. I think the next thing they need to do is look at Street Justice and rework Street Justice. Like, that's the only thing I'd really go balance-wise with her. Like, she did get a a rework to Rogue's Gambit this time, and I will admit, guys, I shit on it in the patch notes, like my patch notes video and on the live stream when they had the update show going. I'll give them credit. Rogue's Gambit before, like, they reworked it was worse, and now it's actually somewhat better and a little bit more consistent now that they actually reworked it. So I'll give them credit. If they wanted to rework Rogue's Gambit into being a somewhat more of a higher pick rate for a talent and having at least a little bit of a justifiable pick Rogue's Gambit over any other of her talents, like Cat Burglar or like Street Justice, then they did their job. It's better than last patch. Apart from that, I think she feels really solid right now. I really do. I've been playing a shit ton of Maeve over these last day and a half, 2 days when the patches dropped. And she just feels really good. She feels really solid right now, guys, especially with the Veteran being put into the game and Veteran being reworked. Granted, Veteran costs a lot, and in most cases, you're not going to be getting that far into a match without buying, like, having your Chronos 3 already fully bought and your Cauterize being fully bought and maybe, like, one other item. It's going to be, like, your last item if you want to buy, like, Veteran. But Veteran works really well on her. It really does. It makes her feel a lot better. That's one thing I will give Maeve. She is one of the flanks in the game right now that really benefits from Veteran being reworked. Having that extra health makes you be able to play a little bit more risky and just being able to play around a lot more. Like, also another thing, I think, like, she feels really good. Like, Cat Burglar, I think, still is her best talent. Like, if you want a talent to pick with Maeve and you want to carry, Cat Burglar is the most consistent talent right now. If you can't aim with Maeve, do not play her. But if you, for some reason, still want to play Maeve, even though you can't play her, and just want to steal everybody's kills, then play Street Justice, because that's a perfect talent for you. But, like, I'll admit as well, Street Justice may be one of my, like, least favorite talents in the game, because it kind of rewards players for no aim and just, like, kill stealing. I'll admit that, but right now, I think it may have, like, some hidden, like, niche, like, secret type of viability, because you have a lot of these tanks going around right now with huge shields that are almost unkillable unless you have Wrecker 3, Wrecker 2, and some really good DPS on your team. Like, with Street Justice, you don't have to worry about the shields. Stuff like Barrack, stuff like Fernando is the main one right now. Khan is really good right now. Atlas, you don't have to worry about juking and diving around an Atlas barrier or him having to rewind. You can just instantly go in and go for the kill before he rewinds. Execute him when he's below 30%. Jagrith is another one. Like I said earlier, she has a huge spike in pick rate this patch from what I've been seeing and what I've seen over the last couple weeks. Like, getting her executed when she's below 30 health is 30% health is insane. Rom's another one, being able to instant execute a Rom when he's not able to get a heal. Really, really solid. There may be a hidden secret niche, like, with Street Justice, and it could have some viability. I'll give it that. But overall, mainly when you see somebody using Street Justice, they can't aim, and they're just kill stealers. So, but it does have viability. Like, if you're going against a squad with, like, a Fernando, like Fernando Khan or something, like, that would be one justifiable, like, talent pick into that type of team. Like, even me, I would probably even try picking Street Justice into that, because I think that would be really good. Just getting an instant execute on both of those tanks, not having to worry about their shields, and just reducing how long they can survive. I don't know. It can work against certain teams, at least with Street Justice, and there's a certain tanks and there's certain stuff that you can use it against, and it can work really, really well. But overall, it's just one of those talents where I think it still needs an entire rework. I really do. It just rewards players for having no aim and just stealing kills. That's mainly what the majority of it is, but there is some type of viability behind it if you do look at it more in depth. That's what we're here to do. So, overall, though, like, if you want to pick Maeve, pick Cat Burglar. It's the most consistent talent. It really is. And she just feels really good right now to play as well. Like, pick Veteran as, like, a third or fourth item after you got Cauterize and you got some Chronos, like Chronos 1 or Chronos 2, and go into Veteran from the item store, and she starts feeling really, really good. I really like how Maeve feels right now, but I can't put her above an A+. I really can't. She also is a little bit better because Lex got nerfed. One of her huge downsides of it was playing into a Lex because you pretty much just instantly deleted if you were marked. Lex got a little bit of a nerf, so she does become slightly better in that aspect. But then again, you have to go against Androxus and stuff like that still. So, like, we have 3 bans per side now. So if you really wanted to play Maeve, you could always just ban out Andro and ban out Lex, and you could be a little bit better in better shape if that's your plan. I just don't think it's really worth doing that though. Overall, if you can aim and if you want a really fun to play flank that feels really good right now, I'd say Maeve is probably the flank for you. And if you're like me and you just play the absolute shit out of her, you can carry games with her. She has a lot of carry potential and she rewards players for pinpoint aim and being just good at playing the champion. That's what I really love about Maeve. She hasn't changed really that much in that aspect either. A lot of mobility, know when to use your cooldowns, keep your cooldowns constantly rotating, keep track of your cooldowns, cycle them, and then just pick stuff off. Go into the back line, get in, get a kill, get out. A lot of mobility, great poke damage. She has no damage fall off, unlike a lot of the other flanks right now. Really solid damage at any range in the game. She just has a bit of an arc on her daggers. Really solid. I love Maeve right now. She's really good, but I can't put her above an A+. Up next, we got Skye. Gonna put Skye at an S tier. Skye is going to an S tier because with this, how annoying and how consistent she is for winning games. I think if you want a flank right now, like the definition of like a mid-tier flank pub stomper that can rank you up really fast and does not take that much effort to really play or that much skill to really play. The only thing you really need to know how to do is land your poison bolts and then play around your healing vapors. That is the definition of Skye right now. She is one of the flanks in the game that does the most damage, especially when tanks are really good. Makes her also really good. She can play around the point. She has her own source of healing, so she doesn't have to play with her team, which is great when you're just solo queuing ranked and you can't rely on your healers. You can go by yourself and consistently get picks by yourself. Lots of damage that way. Great damage potential, especially with the poison bolts. Like there's so much about Skye that has an upside and just overshadows her downsides. Like, yeah, you pick Illuminate into Skye and yeah, you'll know where she is. But if you're just playing your mid-tier ranks and you want to get out of silver, you want to get out of gold, and you want to carry your games, Skye is the perfect pick. That's why I'm putting her at an S tier. You see Skye almost picked in the majority of your mid-tier ranked games, to the point where sometimes you can even ban her because she just gets so annoying. People don't know how to play against her, and people just don't know how to play into her. People just, I don't know what it is. Like sometimes too, they'll refuse to pick up Illuminate. They don't know what Illuminate does for some reason. You just get away with way too much at your mid-tier games. She is the definition of a mid-tier pub stomper / carry champion out of the flanks. That's why I'm putting her at an S tier, because with how consistent she is and how much she can get away with in your mid-tier ranked games. The only thing that is a drawback with her is, like I said, Illuminate being picked into her, then she really can't get away with as much. Even then, she still does a shit ton of damage. Can't take that away from her. And then having no mobility. But even then, you have movement speed cards when you're using healing vapors. So, like preparation, not good at all. Don't pick preparation. I would only pick debilitate if you're running a double healer comp. Otherwise, you pick healing vapors. Healing vapors Skye is the best talent, and that's what's going to win you the most games, and it's the most consistent thing. That's how you're going to win a lot of your 1v1s too. Being able to throw out a smoke bomb and being able to heal yourself while trying to 1v1 somebody that doesn't have a pocket or doesn't have a heal makes you win the majority of your 1v1s. That's why she's so good. The definition, like I said, the definition of a mid-tier carry type flank that can rank you up. If you want a flank that can rank you up really easily and just stomp your games and carry your games, you pick Skye. That's why I'm putting her at an S tier. She's not like broken tier, but she's definitely S tier worthy in my honest opinion. I don't care what anybody says. Talus. Oh man. Oh man. I mean, I want to put him lower. I really do. Like, I'm gonna put him in B tier. I'm gonna put him in B tier. I don't think he's good. I really don't think he's good. I don't know if you guys watch too, like, I live stream ranked games, which I should have probably said at the beginning of the video, but I also live stream pretty much like 5 to 6 times a week, mainly Paladins. So if you guys do not want to miss my live streams, feel free to subscribe as well, because I do play the game live, and I usually play ranked live. Like, either every time I play ranked, and if I get a Talus on my team, it's a throw pick. It's picked over something the team could have used or should have used, or like got something else, and they pick Talus and just throw the game when we needed something else, or they pick Talus and they just don't do anything the entire game. They just feed their ass off and do nothing the entire game. He is probably the most inconsistent flank in the game. Either you steamroll teams and you just destroy, or you just do nothing the entire game. I'm going to put him at a B tier because in your lower tier ranked games, he can stomp, because people just don't know really how to play against him, and he gets away with way too much, and he just doesn't get punished, especially when you're just diving randomly and just playing really risky, and nobody punishes you in your lower tier ranked games. That's why I'm going to put him at a B tier. Otherwise, I would not play him. Once you get past Platinum 3, you leave Talus in the selection screen and you never pick him again. Unless you're like an absolute Talus god, which is really rare. Like, the majority of my ranked games, if I either see a Talus or I have a Talus on my team, they do nothing the entire game, and they just run and feed free kills, and they're pretty much a wasted draft. Like, a wasted draft slot on a champion that does nothing when we could have had anything else, and that would have been better. Like, he's not Moji tier, and I would say he's a little bit better than Buck because he can do stuff, and he does have a little bit better of chance of like steamrolling and carrying a little bit of games, especially your lower to mid tiers. But after Platinum 3, you get rid of Talus. You don't play him anymore. That's the problem with him. Do not play Talus in my ranked games. I do not like when people play Talus in my ranked games. Every time I get a Talus, at least with me personally, I get him on my team, and they just feed free kills and do nothing the entire game. There you go. B tier. Next up, we got Vatu. Vatu is the newest flank to the game, and he just got added to ranked this update, from being in the game for about 2.5 months before then. I don't know. I feel like he's kind of like a Buck. I really do. I feel like he's kind of like a Buck, but with just no recovery. And a little bit more of mobility. He has more mobility than Buck does, but he just doesn't have the self-heal. Like, with Enveloping Shadows, which I think is his best talent, don't run any of his other talents. Enveloping Shadows is 100% your best talent. You're going to be getting that CDR reduction that on every hit you get off. No matter if it's 1, 2, or 3 daggers on somebody random. No matter if you just land a shot on somebody, you're going to be getting cooldown reduction with every dagger you throw out. Or I guess Kunai. Kunai, whatever. Same thing. I'm going to put him at A tier. I'm going to put him at average. I think he has potential. I really do. But the problem is he's just really new. Not many people know how to properly play him to like the max potential right now. He does take a lot of skill to play. If you don't know what you're doing with Vatu, you're just going to end up feeding free kills. He's also kind of similar in the way like of Evie. Like, he has a really high skill cap. You need to play him flawlessly. If you're caught out of position, or you just don't know what you're doing at a certain time in the game, and you just get caught out and destroyed or punished for being out of position, you just get destroyed. I think A tier is fair for him right now. Until people start knowing how to play against him and play him a little bit better, I'm going to keep him at an A tier. I don't know. Like, he has a lot of potential. Don't get me wrong. You can go up to like any squishy, and the majority of supports or the majority of like DPS, especially the ones that can't do anything to you at close range, like Octavia, Imani, stuff like that. Dredge is another one that really can't do anything up close to you, and you can burst them down within like 2 seconds and get a huge kill on those. If you're looking for a flank that can play into certain comps with like those type of DPS, or like supports that have no mobility, stuff like Furia, stuff like I don't know, like Furia. What else? What else has no like Ying? Ying's another one that really doesn't have that much mobility. You can dive her really easily. Like there's a number of supports in the game that you can just dive really easily and just get away with a lot. Corvus is another one. Like by the time he teleports away from you, you have like half his health done. You can just chase him down. Like there's a lot of shit in the game that you can just dive really easily. Mainly supports, mainly DPS. He just struggles with tanks. If you're going to be picking him into a comp with like 2 tanks, 2 supports, he may struggle a little bit because apart from picking off supports, you're not going to really be doing that much the entire game. So he just really struggles with tanks. Like you do absolutely nothing to tanks. Absolutely nothing, and you just get shit on close range, similar to Buck. I think he has a little bit more potential, at least right now, though, than Buck does. Gonna put him at a solid A tier for average. Vora. I really don't know where I put Vora. I really don't. Like, I feel like half the games I get her in my ranked games, like, she just doesn't do anything but feeds. But then when I get her in my high tier ranked games, then she just absolutely steamrolls and carries games. I don't know. Like, I feel like she's at the same spot as Vatu right now. Like, she's really inconsistent. At the same time, I don't think she's really, like, bad. Like, don't get me wrong, Cauterize being buffed is great for her because the reason why she was not good last patch and she was kind of really bad is because she couldn't kill anything with Double Healer. Don't get me wrong, Double Healer is still probably one of the best comps in the game right now, still, even with buffed Cauterize. But like even Veteran on her feels really good. I was playing a ton of Vora earlier today. She feels really, really good with Veteran. It's just if you can get that enough credits, like you got to stack Cauterize. Chronos is another item you really want. You want Nimble. Nimble's a great item that you want on as well. Like it just comes down to what item slot do you stack Veteran in? Your second, third, or fourth item. I don't know. Like she's also still really buggy. Like half the time you use Vine, it doesn't go off and it doesn't pull you up, and it'll just go on cooldown. I don't know. Like she's really hit or miss right now. Like I'm debating to put her at an A plus or an A. I think I'm gonna put her at an A. I know that I'm gonna get bashed in the comments. I've had like tons of people say, "Oh, well, Vora's the best flank in the game, bro. Vora's the best flank in the game. Why don't you see that?" I don't know about you guys, but I don't see it. I do not see it. I see better Andros in my games that carry over Vora. I really do. I had I think maybe a handful of games where I've had a Vora carry my ranked game. Apart from that, every time someone picks it on my team or the enemy team, they feed, and then just do nothing the entire game. So I'm gonna put her at an A tier for average. Hit or miss. It just depends on what you pick her into. If you're good with her, you can maybe do really well with her. But overall, I think she's just average, and that's being generous. At least, honestly, for me, I'm just being completely honest. Whether you'd put her higher or lower on this list, that's something to be talked about. Let us know, everybody know in the comments down below. But like she does have something going for her as well, like having an instant execute. Yeah, an instant execute's okay, whatever. Like, she also got nerfed this patch too. Like she got her movement speed during her ult nerfed, and then she got her initial ult charge decrease like nerfed. So it takes more of your ult charge away if you just use your ult right away and just run away from something without instantly executing something. So she actually got nerfed this patch as well. Like I can't move her higher than an A. Like meanwhile, they buffed Vatu, and I think he still is A worthy too. Like they're both kind of in the same boat. Like granted, Vatu probably has a higher skill cap. If I'm being honest, I think Vatu has way higher skill cap, and he's way more difficult to use than Vora. But like she also got nerfed this patch. Like I can't move her higher than an A. I really can't. She even got nerfed. She even has less survivability now because people would just proc her ult and then just run away with the damage reduction and then have her ult back in like 30 seconds anyways. You're not going to be able to do that anymore. You're going to need to use it as it is intended and to actually execute shit. That's what it's like intended to do. There you go. There's Vora. And then we got, last but not least, we got Xin. I think he actually might have gotten nerfed this patch too. I'm not sure. I actually would have to go back and look. Like I don't even if he did get nerfed, like he's still really good. Xin is still really, really good. Like I think he's still like one of best flanks in the game. Like, if you want a really consistent flank that just does its job insanely well, has really solid survivability, and just does really solid damage numbers, you pick Xin. You have Yomi, which is still viable. Smolder, I think, might have gotten nerfed this patch, I'm not sure, but it's still somewhat good. And then you have Guillotine, which was still one of the best talents in the game. Like, the only thing you have to worry about now with Xin, which I guess can arguably say that he's a little bit worse, is Veteran. Tanks stacking Veteran may not let you, like, instantly execute them anymore with Guillotine, since Guillotine last patch also got slightly nerfed. I don't know. Like, even then, if you don't instantly execute them, you put them at, like, 500 health. Like, a tank with 500 health is pretty much guaranteed to die anyways, so it really doesn't matter. So even if you don't instantly execute them with your ult, with Guillotine, and then you bring them down to 500, that's pretty much still basically a free kill. Unless you're just absolutely stupid and you don't know how to follow up on kills. I don't know. Like, it's brain dead talent. Like, it's still a brain dead talent that pretty much guarantees you a kill on pretty much almost anything. And even with Veteran, it's a guaranteed kill on a support. Like, getting a kill, an instant kill at the beginning of a point fight, or like a point push at the end of a point push is huge. Same thing as Lex. So I don't know. Definitely S tier. I wouldn't say he's really ban worthy, but if you're not picking Skye, I think you're definitely looking at Xin, and then you're probably the other two, which are probably Koga and Maeve right now for some of the more consistent and better flanks to actually use in your ranked games right now, guys. Really, really good. They're also supposed to be reworking Yomi here in like the next patch or two, so we're gonna see what dread of a talent they're gonna rework Yomi into. I really don't want them to rework Yomi because it feels great being able to do an 850 on a heavy swing. It really does. I really don't want them to get rid of the talent, but apparently it's a problem, so don't be surprised if he gets one of his talents reworked this next patch. But until then, you guys can play him. He's really solid. Really, really good, especially if you have a healer that's just constantly pocketing you the entire game. Something like a Corvus, something like a Ceres, stuff like that, like a Genos. Even Genos would be really good with him right now since Genos got reworked. He can actually keep a team sustained a lot better. Like, there's a lot of options with Xin. Like, he's one of the only flanks in the game too. Like, you can kind of just pick him at the end of a team and just pluck him onto a team and put in work. Like, a lot of the other flanks in the game right now, apart from maybe like Skye, Lex, and Andro, like, you're going to kind of want to take into consideration that the enemy team's draft and what they're picking. With Xin, you kind of just throw him onto a team and you just put in work. He's one of those type of flanks, which makes him really good as well. That's the tier list, guys. That is the flanked tier list for Paladins Genlock, the mid-season patch. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys agree with me? Is there something I forgot to talk about? Is there something I forgot to mention? Is something on the list wrong in your opinion? Let me know your guys' list in the comments down below. Also, if somebody has time as well that wants to do timestamps for every single champion in this video, that'd be really cool as well. I will pin your comment and I will heart your comment down below. Apart from that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This is video 1 of 4, so if you guys are staying to the channel, you do not want to miss any of my other tier lists, then please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Like I said, let's see if we can get this video to 25 likes within the first 72 hours, and then go from there. I also do live stream Paladins almost like 3 or 4 times a week. I also play a bunch of other stuff like Smite, Apex Legends, stuff like that, Overwatch once in a while. So if you guys are also interested in those games, subscribe, really would appreciate it. But I'm usually live pretty much almost every evening, so there you go. If you guys are interested in watching some top tier like ranked gameplay and viewer games, I sometimes do viewer games if that interests you. So apart from that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys with the next couple parts of the tier list for DPS, tank, and support. So next one probably going to be rolling out here in the next couple of days. I'm going to have to play a bunch of the DPS. I've been mainly just playing the flanks over these last couple of days, or the first couple of days of the patch, and now I'm going to start transitioning into the DPS, testing all those out, going through those, and seeing how they currently are with all the new items and everything being like some nerfs and buffs to a handful of them. So expect that video in the next couple days. Hopefully you guys are hyped for that, and I'll be getting the rest of the tier list done. So yeah, thank you guys for stopping by. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in a future video. Thanks for stopping by. Peace out.